hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down, can always go another round. Welcome to the underground, real sports with real sports guys. It's a flex that had his mindset, ready for whatever grind next. My mindset, working with the time left, hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down, can always go another round. Welcome to the underground, real sports with real sports guys.
All right, welcome to another episode of Real Sports Guys here on RSG. Please check us out at realsportsguys.com or Real Sports Guys on all your social media platforms. You can also catch our audio version of our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Welcome to, the place where, the culture meets the game, where we're trying to get it going. But before I get into our show, let me bring my partners on, the folks who just make my day go when I'm able to sit down and talk to them about anything, life or whatever. We have a lot of fun off the air. Y'all get a chance to kind of get a little glimpse of it inside the show here, what we always do in our own time. So let me bring the youngin' in. I call him now the technician. This cat, Darnell Kirkland, y'all know. See, y'all, this is an up and coming offensive line coach. He sent me a video. I got to say this of this sophomore, and who is a left tackle who wants to be a defensive end, but a left tackle who is serious. And I'm like, man. So Darnell and I are talking about. He sent me the video. I'm like, who is this guy? He's a grown man. I said, Darnell, boy, you're gonna have one if you can get him to figure it out. If you get him to believe that he can make more money protecting folks than trying to wreck shop, he gonna be a good one. But you start to get your program in place. So I just got to say that before. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. Yesterday I got the chance to go up to Wayne State to watch Wayne State play against Grand Valley State. I know you remember
Yes,
you had a chance to talk to Jabril before.
yes,
Another
yes.
one of the kids that I used to coach, doing his thing over at Grand Valley State. They had a big win yesterday against Wayne State. So it was a nice chance to catch up with them, watch them play. And some other former players out there to support as well.
All right. Yeah, we uh got to keep the youngest going. I remember you having me talk to him, and trying to, provide some support. I mean, and this thing about Darnell will be traveling with these kids to visits, being there, supporting them through it. When you talk about a coach who is focused and in it to win it, Darnell tells me I'm about to go up here walk with him, help him get through the process. I mean, man, I'm telling you, man, proud of you, proud of what you're doing. I know you're trying to just get the foundation going, but I'm proud of you. And then the other end of coaching, like, so this is the next generation. Then we got the OG of coaching and OG of sports. This cat done played more sports than anybody. Every time I turn around, there's a new sport. Yeah, I played that. You played that? Like, not to just go and play with the Chiefs for a little bit. You don't play that sport. You do that. But my man Cecil, man, it was just good time to break bread with you and your lovely wife Londa last night. We were able to spend time together. We're about to get ready to go to Maui, man. This is my brother in everything. So how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm upright taking fluids, hoping that continues. So I'm blessed every day to be around folks like you, and to continue to watch Darnell and his growth and what he's doing. So like I say, and just to be able to do this is a blessing. So I appreciate it.
Well, we're gonna have a good time today. There's a lot going on. Carl is trying to get on. I think he was having some technical difficulties trying to get into the studio. So we'll correct that and get him on board here in a minute to join us to have it. But let's start with Game 7. We got to figure out what's trending now. We'll start with Game 7. I mean, the best thing in sports is Game 7, and um someone said some last night about at the post game about this World Series brought back not just it brought the average fan back to the game. I haven't had so much fun watching baseball um, since watching this playoffs and just watching it. Amazing. I mean, we talk about a game seven that uh, had they played over what was it, 135 innings or whatever they played, or in the World Series, some crazy number they already played. Um, Will Smith, who I saw that crazy somebody posted about, has been like in the last what six World
Six
Series,
World
whatever.
Series.
That's I didn't even think about that, but this cat caught what like 70 something innings, broke the record. And then had the incredible hit in the 11th, like in terms of getting stuff back to kind of get them back in, and just like the gamers. But then the Blue Jays had incredible time. You got like Max Scherzer, who's starting like 41 years old. I mean, it's just a lot going on in this series. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but let's start with Darnell. I mean, we don't talk a lot of baseball, but I find myself watching a lot of baseball. This was a great series to watch. Did you get a chance to watch Game 7?
I did not.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness!
I was. Yeah, I shoot. This is what I did. So stayed up all night Friday, right? And then I had to work midnights. So I worked midnights, and then to go to the Grand Valley State game, I slept like 3 hours, and
Wow.
then went up to the Grand Valley State game. Then went home, went back to sleep, and then went to work again. So yeah, I ain't see the
So
game.
the reason why I call us real sports guys, y'all just heard.
Yep.
Like we are doing other things with our lives, and this is a great example of that. That you are that right there describes how we get down in this. There's a lot going on when you're talking about stuff like that. See, so I don't know if you had a chance to kind of check out the World Series at all and check things out.
I was watching it off and on a little bit based on the, like you say, real sports, based on the messages I was getting back and forth, and the excitement that was on on our messages about it being a big time game. But just from what I heard, and then I turn and watch. Then I turn and watch football games because I was watching the college games a little bit last night. And so I didn't get to watch the whole full balance of it, but just going back and forth and following the messages, I kind of got geeked doing that because it sounded like the old baseball that you used to watch. It sounded like it had a little more drama to it than used to, and so it was pretty exciting. And I mean, I get a chance to say this. I was really happy too because the Dodgers won, and my dad, God rest his soul, is cheering up in heaven because he was a Dodger fan all my life. I can't remember a time where he was not talking about his Dodgers, and I know he's happy as can be. So I was just really happy for that too.
Yeah, I mean, Magic has 18 championships. He's sitting on the because he's associated with the Dodgers. I think what was about it, where I think people who are old school baseball fans would appreciate. I've been going back and forth with Hammer around the spending and yeah, that's the spending and the Mets spent a lot of money and didn't pay off. At the end of the day, you still got to manage. You got to coach. In championship games, what still holds up with all the metrics and all the analytics they use in baseball. What I appreciate about these two managers, Snyder and Doc, were that you can tell, and Snyder even talked about this. He was sick last year in terms of how he fell too much into the analytics and he didn't trust his gut. Both of them talked about trusting their gut and some of the moves they made that were non-traditional in terms of some of their starters coming back, pitching in the seventh game, people volunteering, like going against all the grain, going with their guts around who in terms of evaluating on competitiveness, who's ready, who's doing this was great. And even someone like a Mookie Betts who struggled offensively, still locked in defensively, making great plays, ending with the double play at the end of the game. Like we'll talk about this a little bit later about the trends back to some of the fundamental things of games. And what is clear about at least these two clubs, that I've always said analytics and numbers have always been a part of the game. I mean, since you've been coaching a long time, you use data all the time back coaching. Like, this is nothing new, but you have much more of a balance between what I would call a mixed method. Your gut, your understanding, and the numbers always came in context. We swung this pendulum so far, particularly in a game like baseball, where they're governed too much about it. But it was refreshing to have two managers who used their gut and players who appreciate that and tried to live up to it. That's something. And the Vlad Guerrero Jr., that kid right there, he's a star. And he, even though they didn't win, he's a household name. That kid, and I'm saying kid, but he's a young man. He is producing at a high level. And to see that him and Bichette, they show pictures of them young. They've been together for like 14 years. Both those guys coming together, watching their journey. So there's some great stories here, and it feels like the game is making some moves right now. So I enjoyed it. The other thing happening is college football is heating up. I'm gonna ask you this, Darnell. Did the glass slipper fall off of Vandy this weekend? Vandy was making some noise, and then the boys from Texas came in. They had to get a signature win, and they were able to get that against the Commodores.
Nah. Well, what I'm gonna say is it's gonna hit to a conversation we're gonna have later on in the show.
Yeah.
Is like an echo on my mic. Should I take this on?
No, you good. You sound good to me on my end.
Better now?
Yeah, yeah. You were great
Okay,
before.
I
Yeah,
think that might have been my microphone. But
yeah, yeah,
like I'm gonna hear that something that's coming a little later in our conversation is
yeah,
the parity in the sport. Like, there's a lot
yeah.
of talent in the SEC. I mean, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. They dropped the game here, but I still believe Vanderbilt, that the culture they've built, the football team that they've built, they're gonna be okay. They're gonna be all right. They just lost the game. Texas is a very, very talented team, and they got them yesterday. So I'm not gonna call it too early. Say the glass slipper is off. I think they're still very live.
And you had same thing with Georgia Tech falling at NC State. I still think same thing with Georgia Tech. There's some foundation, there. But then you had the Sooners, needing that big man going into Neyland Stadium, getting that over the Volunteers. I don't know if you had a chance to check that out at all, Cecil, but um, you know, Lane Clifford, Lane was talking about the Sooners and them that basically still signs or whatever. But and then they got the victory. Felt like the Sooners needed one. They've been struggling a little bit, but with them Volunteers, you get a chance to check that out at all. But it feels like the Sooners needed a big victory on the road to stay in
Oh
the
yeah, they did.
conversation.
Yeah, I think their confidence was slipping a little bit, and so they had to get back on track again because they came out of the gate looking like they were going to be somebody to contend with. But I wasn't too worried about them. And again, you're talking about where I grew up and where I'm from, so I've been a Sooner for a long time anyway. But they're going to be good and get it corrected. And I'm like Daryl. I think Vandy's the same way. They're going to get it corrected. I think this going into who's going to be in the playoffs is going to be difficult as we get down the stretch. A couple of people are trying to distance themselves, but they still got some tough games on their schedules. But yeah, I think Oklahoma kind of made a statement for themselves, and they're on the right footing to kind of make a run here.
Yeah, and I was gonna say Signetti and the Hoosiers still putting their feet on people's couch. So I just wanted to put that in, just in case y'all didn't know, they still putting their feet on people. They go into people's house, putting their feet on people's couch, and just it's saying Google me. So I just wanted that feels like that's just like public service announcement we just need to say every week. They're gonna be they're gonna have the first official whatever rankings. Is there a team under the radar that you feel like, Darnell, that or a team or two that you think that we got to pay attention to, that people aren't really watching them, but they seem to be gaining some momentum?
No, it's all good. Yeah, I was gonna mention Michigan,
Yep.
because young quarterbacks coming along. His last game with Purdue, it was a little bit of
Yeah.
a,
Yeah.
it wasn't their best showing, but they won, survive in advance. So I think they're a team that's coming. But who saw SMU coming though?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's another name, SMU. I mean,
No, Red Lashley's a really good coach. So I
shocked the
yeah,
world.
yeah. So I think again he's proven. I mean, he's got a big extension, and a lot of teams want him, but it's kind of one of those things where, like we talk about Mark Few, you need to stay at SMU and make SMU what it was for the death penalty, make it the great program it was, and I think he could do that with SMU. So with his victories he's doing, he's a great offensive mind, and really just again big victories for SMU, especially in the ACC, which is not their territory, but they're balling. Yes, yeah.
So right now we're trying to figure out who's off the bubble. So we said Michigan's there, a team that you think that people aren't really paying attention to that can get. You got SMU there. Cecil. Is there a team that you're looking at that's like that may not show, they're under the radar, that you think we should be paying attention to?
well, Darnell stole mine. It was going to be Michigan. I've been kind of watching them slowly but surely, surprised sometimes when they haven't won. But I would say Michigan for sure. You asked about Vanderbilt earlier. I'm curious to see what happens with them. Especially after this week. I don't know if the glass slipper is going to fall off, but seeing if they can turn it back around, because they've kind of surprised me all season long. So still want to keep an eye on them, even though they looked early like a surprise front runner. Still curious to know if they're going to be able to make a run. But I was definitely kind of trending watching Michigan play and seeing them finally start to get things going in the right direction. Because I just like the way Michigan plays football too, so that's part of it.
Yeah, and my big thing with Michigan was, were they going to let Bryce evolve? And now he's starting to like open up in offense, and there's times when he's so conscious about staying in the pocket. There's times when you just should be running and run. Like he had a turnover where you just run the ball, get the first down, and then the defense, being able to play out of their base and not having to always get pressure or whatever. Because it seems like they're blitzing much more than they used to, and part of it was having a balance with that. And I felt like they found something there yesterday. Hopefully, they can build on I think would be really important. So, Carl, we're trying to figure out, like, as the rankings come out, are there teams that are going to kind of be off the radar that people should be paying attention to?
Louisville, definitely. I think Louisville, I'm looking at their schedule right now. I mean, they're really coming up, 14 in the country, and they're going to be facing, again, down the stretch, SMU. I like Louisville right now. I think they have a game. They got California next week, and they got Clemson, who's now very suspect, especially the defense. But no, I really like Louisville down the stretch. They're really surging, I think, right now. Yeah, I think Jeff Brown's one of the best.
Did we lose him? Does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he must have cut out a little
Yeah,
bit, but
I
yeah,
was also going to mention Virginia.
yeah,
Virginia's
Virginia,
been playing
yeah,
surprisingly well. This year, Tony Elliott, he's been putting it together for the offensive coordinator at Clemson. It seems like Clemson just hasn't been the same.
mm-hmm.
Clemson just hasn't been the same since he left.
Yeah.
But he's doing his thing. They're one loss team right now. I know the ACC doesn't necessarily have the best competition, and their schedule is not very strong. But they're doing their thing.
Another team that has 2 losses, but they are feeling like the bullies on the block as they're getting stuff together is Utah. Like
No,
Utah is one of them. Remember I told them teams that you play and watch what a team does after they play Utah. Like more teams will lose after they play a game and lose. Like Utah is like they play physical is just an understatement. But I feel like if they're kind of train that gets going, you gotta be ready to come get some with them. And I feel like they're kind of sitting in this kind of weird spot, but I could see them beginning to kind of um, you know they can go pound for pound with folks.
Yeah,
Uh,
they pummeled Cincinnati yesterday. I was stunned by
yeah,
that game. I thought the game would be closer. They pummeled them.
I mean, they started to catch their stride, and they're the kind of team when they catch their stride, they feel like they got that signetic feel. They put their feet on your couch, like they don't.
They have an old Wisconsin field. I mean, that's what
Yeah,
they used to. That's what Wisconsin used to be.
yes.
Yeah, you're right. Used to be.
Used to be. Yep.
Used to be. You're right. We'll be back. I stress we'll be back, man. This is we've gone back to 87 Wisconsin, but I have a feeling we'll be back. We'll be back one day.
We'll get back there. We gonna let that one rest for a little bit.
With prayers too.
With prayers. One of the things one of the things that I really want to talk about, really in kind of in a more featured segment around this is the price of parity, because I think Cecil, you were just about to get into this. We're seeing LSU firing. We got the governor coming out here, and when you have these systems that are really built for parity, they ain't really built for you to really build legacy. When you got Vanderbilt having access to being able to do things, and it comes down to what Signetti talked about, and I think this is across a lot of sports, talks about the alignment between systems and people. He talked about that. Even the Vanderbilt coach talked about that. And when you have that alignment all the way up, everybody understands what we're trying to do. That's important, but you can do that in many places. You have Saban coming out here more recently, like, Kiffin might have a better deal at Ole Miss, and he's right, like, because it's about alignment. Like Saban talked about the importance of vertical alignment. He says really hard right now in college football because so much is influenced by the external. It's hard to get vertical alignment in everything else. So this idea of parity and then how we judge that and judge success in that is something that I just wanted to kind of get in with y'all. Coach, I know you were leaning to that, and Darnell, you were about to get into that. What were you thinking as you earlier? I think you were about to make a point around this, but this idea, someone who's coached on the college level and been in these spaces, talked to a lot of people, like how do you manage that, and where are we at across sports around this idea of parity and how people are actually understanding that? That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to this whole idea of how do you build a culture in a program that's going to be consistent in the new age that we have right now. How do you as a coach get the people you need to perform the way you need them to do? That obviously, if more coaches could do it, it'll create parity. But how do you do that in this age where people are back and forth and in and out, so quickly? And that is probably the key to, or the hardest part, like you said, DeVon, is it's not enough just to have the resources. It's what you're going to do with the resources that's important, and how are you going to use those resources. And part of it has to be with getting the people that you need in your programs to play and execute and do the things you need to do within your program. So it gets back to, how does culture fit into this too? How do you maintain a culture while trying to build your teams based on economic reasons and the ability with economic reasons? How do you do that in this culture? And I think the more coaches that are getting that are doing a good job of it, like a Signetti, maybe like they're doing at Vanderbilt, that's where the parity is going to come from. As the coaches get better at this, as coaches get better at creating their systems, creating what they need, their cultures, and creating a way that they can make this balance work with this new environment that they're in.
Yeah, it's and you can see it across sports, right? It's like culture matters, right? I don't care if you're in NBA, I don't care if you're MLB. Like, when even those two teams we saw in the World Series, yes, a lot of money, but you got to know how to execute that. Like, at the end of the day, when you're on the field, you got to trust in everybody you got around you. And Hammer, you were on here earlier, but what I was amazed about these two managers is they manage by gut as well. Like numbers don't just inform them, but you can tell they have built cultures with the Blue Jays. They have built they built. It's not just they've got these guys to buy in, right?
Yeah.
To sacrifice.
Analytics only go so far. I mean, analytics only go so far. You gotta have the
Yes.
you see both sides. The great World Series where they believe in their manager, and even though you lead first with the analytics, you gotta go second with your gut and common sense. And so I think that's really what the players see that in the way they brought in Yamamoto, stuff you wouldn't do by the book. They did because they know against their backs against the wall, they're on the road, and therefore they on ball. Look at the fact they almost had a bench clearing draw in Game 7 of the World Series. That tells you how hyped up these cats were. And so the analytics only go so far. Like I said, you got to have where your team, and the main about it, Dave Roberts, they trust him immensely.
Yes.
Again, that's the main thing. They trust his strategy. They trust his gut because also he was one of them. Remember that. He was one of them. He was a player, a good player, not a great player, a good player, and a smart player. A guy who probably had a longer career than he should have because of what he has up here, why he's a manager. And so even with all that great payroll, the brother delivered. And that's the bottom. Because if he didn't deliver, they'd be like, oh, well, they wasted all the money. No. And they ruined baseball. But again, Dodgers ruined baseball another time, but they didn't really ruin baseball. It's a great thing. We all know they need a salary cap to have some more equity. But the bottom line is that this was a great World Series, great for the brand. International cats really bringing it. Yamamoto, Otani. In fact, Canada's part of it, great as well. It's great for the game, and hopefully they can use this momentum and get some more people, even though the Dodgers won again. So, yeah, back to back.
I mean, Darnell, we're going to be checking out Miles. We've seen this stuff up close and personal, and like even college basketball, you can see the stress on people's faces. You can see the way this is playing out. But at the end of the day, like you've everybody's got to have acceptable expectations, around where you are. At Wisconsin was making most. I'm gonna use that example, and Hammer will agree with this. What makes fans at Wisconsin really upset, I think I might tell Cecil this, is they used to go on somewhere warm in January, right? Like, and delivering on that. They're not asking for national championships. They're asking to be in the conversation, and they're used to taking over a city. That's and they built a statue for Alvarez on that. He never won a national championship, but he made sure they had a place to go. They won a couple of bowls, and it was a party. Like he understood the assignment, and they delivered, and they did their thing. And so there is an understanding about that. But we've watched this in basketball, people lose sight of that, right? And so I know you watched it up and close. Like when you think about parity, is it fool's gold, right? Is my question. And if you were working with somebody through this, what would be your recommendations on how to manage something like this? You got high school kids who are trying to figure this out, where to go.
Well, it's not necessarily fool's gold. It's reality.
Yeah.
There is more parity because the players are being dispersed out.
Mm.
And just that, like you said,
Yep.
expectations. That's really what I was going to get at earlier. Is we're in a new landscape of college sports and college football and college sports in general. But a lot of the people that's paying out the money, they have the expectations like it was 10 years ago.
Mm.
And some of the expectations of some of these schools are not exactly the same. I mean, the expectations are the same as they were 10 years ago, and the reality of the situation really isn't. And you get something like the Jerry Jones effect,
Yeah.
where you got guys on the outside, you know, decision makers on the outside. Well, not necessarily decision makers, but boosters. The guys that turn into decision makers that aren't necessarily football people, aren't necessarily basketball people, making basketball and football decisions, and that is what that's what complicates it and makes the job a little harder than it has to be. And that's why I think the advantage of guys like a Signetti at an Indiana or the Vanderbilt job or the Louisville job is they know they don't have that LSU history behind them. They don't have the Penn State history behind them, the Florida history behind them. that has that certain expectation. So what they do is they'll give you the money and they let the football guys do the football stuff. And that's where you got a guy like Kurt Signetti that was doing the thing at the smaller levels, but he has been successful. He knows what he's doing, and they
Yep.
allow him to build it, build the culture, build the football the way he needs to, and you see the results that you get. And I think that's why a job like that and a job like Ole Miss might be better than a job like LSU or the way that we used to talk about Texas 5 years ago before Sark got there.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch. The parody's entertaining for the fans. There are more fans glued into it. There are more who believe they got an opportunity. I mean, I'm looking at this on the football side. I'm looking at, going all the way down to USC, right at 20. You gotta believe you got a chance. They believe they got a chance. I mean, you go down this list. I mean, you got to go all the way down this list and say you don't. I mean, you almost got to get to Tennessee at 6-3, and even Washington under them believe they got a chance. Cincinnati just lost. You know, I said to folks. Somebody said, about the Wisconsin situation. I said what it illuminates is this is the hope business across the board. The one thing that Jerry Jones has figured out to do, and I don't know how he's figured out to do it, is he always preaching hope. You think about it. That brother is always even when we are looking at it like there ain't no hope. But if you hear him, he sounds like a pastor. He got hope in him all the time. This is a hope business. And if you can create that in the marketplace, but you look all the way down at college football, you think about basketball, it's the hope. And now you find that in college sports. Parity is good for business because it always keeps people at the door because of hope. There's something about it, right? But the reality isn't that. We saw it in the WNBA. I mean, they're firing coaches who just won championships. I'm like, what's going on? Right? It's like this person just won a championship 2 years ago. We firing them already. What's going on? So, like you said, as the money comes in, this gets a little bit. We're gonna watch this evolve. This notion. I like to say the price of parity. It's costing some people now. The governor for Louisiana is something else.
Yeah.
Hammer, I know you've been to spend a lot of time in that world. I'm like, well, somebody need to tap him on the shoulder.
He knows what he's doing, and again, he got what he wanted as far as he knows he has public control over. That's one thing about having these public university football teams. You got public control, so
yeah,
you can wield a lot of power as a governor who's only making $150,000 a year. We got tons of power, and he wanted Mr. Woodward out. He was out.
I'll say the coach is going to be the highest paid employee in the state. So
but the difference between this is a perfect example between power and money. Mr. Landry's got more power than anybody.
Yeah.
He got the power of the purse, and he has the power of being able to control LSU institutionally. And so, I think we see Saban rumors. I don't know if those are true or not, but the brother that's going to be running the search now, Alsbury's his name. So But Landry, he immediately went on McAfee, said what's going to happen. It happened. So he's a King Kong of the state right now. So plain simple, he's the bully on the block. Oh yeah, he's and so Mr. Woodward, who's an alum, remember he's an alum. It was his dream. He got escorted out with a nice $4 million payday to sit down. So but Landry's an interesting character. That's why he's an interesting dude.
Yeah, he better pay attention to the staff and the food and the poverty down there and quit playing around. But we'll talk about that later.
Sadly,
I know Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark. Yeah, there's some people a little bit who got a little more will down there. It's gonna be some interesting battles down there. Louisiana's a different kind of state. You start messing around with football, you mess around and mess it up. That might be the one thing that gets you
that's true.
voted out. So your smart thing is to stay out of that. But we'll see.
I don't know about that. He's a hero. He can be a hero though.
So we gonna trust our governor to pick the coach? Nah, we ain't. We're not going that route.
So that's what I'm talking about earlier. You got 9 football guys making football decisions.
That's right. You hit it
And
right
it
on
was
here.
an important decision.
Can't get Carl's talk. Can't catch it here, Carl. I think he
Yeah,
froze again.
He
I know
froze.
Carl froze up. Came in running out with the Bears, done froze up. See, that's what we got to do. This is real sports guys. We got. I got to work on it so I can help people step up they connection game. With you, I got work to do. Carl up here getting connected. All right, let's get over here. We gonna get
Keller was never good hire. It's about Mr. Keller was never a good hire.
Oh, he's been talking this whole
He been
time.
talking the whole
He
time.
was.
You were out. We didn't catch half
He
what
was
you
Cut
said.
going.
off.
That's all right. You were frozen.
Okay, my bad. Okay, well,
You all right? But we gonna hit. Hey, this is something I've been thinking about. When the OGs won't let go. That's kind of the theme I got going on right now.
okay.
You know,
That's a good.
we got across sports. We got these youngins trying to make moves. You know, in pro football, we got Bo Nix and a couple young guys trying to come in their first couple years, doing their thing. The class before trying to do, but we got veterans like A-Rod today showing he holding on. Patrick Mahomes is an OG. He keeping it, but he's still kind of up there doing his thing. In
Mahomes, the
basketball,
OG.
Patrick might be a little,
Patrick
Patrick
Nah,
Mahomes
might be
he,
ain't
much.
OG.
He's
He
in
he
his
ain't
the OG.
prime.
OG.
He ain't
OG
no
It
now.
OG.
just feels
OG
like it.
now. He might be 30 years old. He's the OG now, coach.
Yeah,
OG.
yeah. Come
30?
on now.
Yeah.
Y'all reflecting on your own stuff.
Nah.
Yeah.
30
Patrick on
is
that early OG.
What you gotta
You
call
know,
him? Middle G or what?
middle G. What we gonna call him?
OG.
Yeah. What y'all
You
gonna
call
call
him
him?
an OG then.
Yeah, he's Bengali the quarterbacks. Bengali the quarterbacks,
So
bro.
we got Jalen Hurts an OG.
Yeah.
Nah, not quite yet. He a warm G. Not a Warren G, but he a warm
Not
G.
quite yet.
He not
Okay.
OG.
All right.
However, but y'all know, y'all know when the young is coming, and it's more prevalent in
Yeah, I
basketball. I
feel
mean,
you.
Darnell keeps
I know
him,
what you're saying.
yeah, Darnell keeps sending me young guys hooping. I mean, the future, the pipeline of NBA basketball is good. We got everybody getting ready. We got the young guys. We got Austin out here scoring 40 while Luka and LeBron them sitting out. We got Wemby doing his thing. You know,
DJ Edgecombe.
you got
Yeah.
Edgecombe
Yeah,
doing
go
his
ball.
thing.
He balling.
It's
He
like,
balling.
I mean, these cats are balling, and so you know,
Who,
go ahead.
Duran had 33 and 10 last night. And
Yeah,
Really? Wow.
18
Okay.
assists.
Well, a good player, man.
we got all kinds of things going on. We got,
Yeah.
as I'm saying, we got the boozers are coming. The
Cooper Flag.
boozers are
Yeah.
coming. Them
Cooper
brothers coming.
Flagler suspect though.
You
Yeah.
Cooper
Who?
Flagler suspect. Cooper Flagler suspect.
Yeah. They playing Cooper Flat. They
they
doing
playing
him
him
a
wrong. They ain't got
disservice.
nothing to do with Cooper.
They doing him a dis. They play him out of position.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
So,
play that point guard. Don't make no
yeah,
sense,
yeah.
man.
and
Every time they play him in position, he go to work.
yeah,
He go. Then he did a little too small thing. He go to work.
yeah.
He trying to remind you I am him. So I'm gonna throw it out Darnell, like OG stuff. Where have you? What's the way to do the transition? We've seen it over the careers. I don't know if anybody's handled this better than the Green Bay Packers. Might be the Green Bay Packers quarterback situation might be the best situation ever handling the transition between the old and the young. But let's talk a little bit about that. When do we hand it over to the young guys? When we pass the mantle? Is it ready in the NBA? Should we be
So
passing the mantle?
who is we? So you're
I,
saying like
I'm saying
so
general in
you said
society.
the
Yeah.
young guard versus the old. So there is
Yeah.
no such thing as passing it. First thing you got to understand is no
Mm,
such thing as passing the torch.
mm.
They got to take it. They
They got
got
to
to take
take it.
it. So it's happening. It's happening. LeBron got sciatica. He got he have he got these retirement injuries, AARP injuries. Man, uh, Jalen Brown, Beijing rubbing off on people's jerseys. I mean, it's happening. It's happening before our eyes, and it's not gonna end. They're not waiting. Wemby is taking the torch. Ain't nobody passing the torch. Wemby is taking the torch. And there are guys, like you said, there are guys coming behind him. Darren Peterson is coming. I'm telling you, Darren Peterson at
Yeah,
Kansas
he
City is
balling, man.
coming. Cameron Boozer is coming. He had 24 and 23 against Tennessee, and we saw Tennessee at the Maui Invitational. They warm up like a football team,
That's
and
right.
he was a grown and he at 18 is a grown man bullying him, grabbing every rebound. So you got Darren Peterson coming. You got Boozer coming. You don't forget about AJ DeBonta over at BYU.
Thanks for that tape. Thanks for that footage you gave us, Darnell. That was great.
Yeah,
I watched it
AJ
again.
Devonta looked like young T-Mac.
He
Looked
balling.
like a young T-Mac coming around the way. You got Native Mint, you got Michael Brown, and don't forget our little cousin Makari Moore over at Pittsburgh. Man, we got the future is bright. I'm telling you, the future is bright.
Coach, you've been around long enough. You know, there's always this like rites to pass. Even though these young guys were good, they always used to make them jump through things. Sometimes it just seems so arbitrary. But some of these, like as Darnell said, some of these young guys are kicking through the door. How do you manage that in the locker room with when you have vets who've been there? There's culture. People believe there's a process, and these young guys are just accelerating because they're training early. They're getting ready early. Like, how do you manage the locker room like that with the youth and these older guys?
Well, what was I watching? There was a podcast, and I think it was Travis Kelce that was talking about. They're asking him how it felt with all these young receivers coming in, that he's not getting the ball, and it seems like his career, you know, that he doesn't have the stature that he had before. And Kelce said, "Are we winning?" He goes, "If we're winning, I could care less."
Yeah.
He said, "I don't give a," you know, and I think that's the whole point is, are they going to help us win? I mean, I think people, to Darnell's point, they're not a matter of passing no torches. They're coming and taking it, and if they're going to help a team win, like you were talking about, what's his name, McCumbee, did I say that right, with Philly? He's just coming in and playing, and they're winning. They're 4-0. They haven't been 4-0 in 20 years.
I mean, the happiest
You
person
know,
in the
and so
building
if they're
is the big fella. He's like, I can let my feet heal with these young guys. You know, I can put my feet in Epsom salt with these cats. They can carry
and
me for
so
3 months.
I can steal some more money. That's what you really mean to say. I can steal some more money is what you really saying, right? I gotta steal some more money. That's what I'm
steal some more money.
I can get paid to not play.
Man, MB was over there cherry picking like he was at the YMCA.
You said he was cherry picking.
Right.
Paid not to
He
play.
wasn't going up and down the court. But I mean, no, seriously, if these guys can come in, and that's the name of the game. If they're going to help us win, they're going to help put us in where we need to be. Then, hey, how am I going to complain about that? My ego got to step aside. I got to get let that happen. That's like what's happening in L.A. with Austin. Well, what are they? He's handling his business right now. He didn't do bad before, but now he's handling his business. You think they're just going to push him aside when they come back? I don't think so. Not if they want to win. They're going to find a way to make that work too. So I think that's the thing. Again, if you're a professional, I don't care you're playing in college or in the pros. If somebody's helping you win, you just go ahead. Hey, you do you. We'll figure it out. So.
Yeah, the car. I know you see it a little bit. It's like the transition. Even when we talk about some of your Chicago sports, so we always talk about Mike left. There was no real transition plan. We kind of had D Rose coming in, but when something falls off,
we're lucky because we got
I mean, when it falls off, right? It not managing that, you got to wait a long time as a fan base, right? When you don't let the young guys cook, right?
Well, we're back though. I mean, I think obviously it's early in the season, but this Bulls team is great.
Giddy balling.
Yeah, Giddy balling, Miles balling, the IO balling off the bench. They just got a real balanced team, very fundamentally sound, and yeah, I'm very impressed with this Bulls team. No Kobe yet. It's gonna be interesting how they work Kobe in. But the thing about it is, you're right about transitions are very important. But sadly, you're right. Most of the Chicago franchises did not have a smooth transition after championships. It's a sad thing where they really disintegrated as teams before they had to build themselves back up.
And I would say one thing is, I think one of the things that make also, like Darnell, you were talking about taking it, but I also think these young guys who are taking it with like almost an old school quality to them. When you think about Wemby, like the guy, like most of the greats, realized he needed to work on something. Like, so he didn't just fall into the trap of space. He went and started working on his feet, playing closer to the hoop. Like, what's making him even better is he getting closer to the basket. So he went He went and worked with the legend. He went he was a young guy who appreciated wisdom, right?
You
Huh?
saw he went to Hakeem. He worked with Hakeem.
Yep.
He went and worked with Kevin Garnett. He's been around. He was even in China with the monks training. He been working. He been doing mental training. Wemby
Darnell.
all around game coming.
And you would say the same thing about Shea. Like I think what's been great about some of these young players, at least in basketball, but you see that in some of the other sports, they got an old school quality to them. You know, in a way, in how they approach their game in a way that I think is helping the transition, even with the old vets. With it, I mean, you see some of the guys, even in football, they bring that maturity into the space. Some of that's because they've probably been in college for like 6 years, some of them, but they bring some of that maturity in, and I think that helps with the transition when they have to lead in that space. I mean, even we talk about Cooper down there. The thing they're most impressed about is like this is an 18-year-old that just is mature, right? It's like got an old school work ethic. Like you often hear them talk about it in that way, and so in seeking out knowledge. So I think that when you create a culture where there's a little blend like that, I think the other thing is when Duncan came in and Robinson, I thought that was a really good transition, right? That Duncan helped with that, right? And Robinson helped with that. I think that was a good transition. But I think some of these young guys they come with this old school spirit that I think is not just them kicking the door down, but I can appreciate what role does the organization have to play in that? I would ask y'all. Anybody can speak up, like in helping that happen. Like, what's the role of the organization in that? And who have you seen doing it well?
They have to be forward thinking, D Wills. They have to make sure they have a plan as far as having young bucks who can take over. And I think that's a problem. Not have this plan where they just want to ride out these cats. And you have to be able to what the Packers do.
Yeah.
I mean, what they've done. They've had a transition plan. They've drafted cats that people thought was crazy, but look at them right now. It's a method to madness where you have Favre won, Rodgers won, and I don't know about Jordan Love, but he could win depending on a different coach. But yeah, he's very talented. But the bottom line is that they have a transition plan and they understand how to succeed themselves before others do. They don't allow themselves to have the fans dictate to them what the timeline is. They decide. They know when to make the transition. And again, I have people have the tutelage of other people. Rodgers, they was set on the bench for 3 years, one of the best in the business. 3 years on the bench. Same with Jordan Love. And yet they understood what to do as far as the transition. So that's what great organizations do. With the Niners with Joe Montana and Steve Young. Yeah, I mean they knew what to do as far as they brought in Steve Young. People thought they were crazy. You had the best, Joe Montana, and you brought in Steve Young, and then look what happened when Montana. Father Time is undefeated, and Father Time got Joe. Then they brought in with Steve Young. So those are two franchises that really understood it, but they went against the grain as far as not, letting the fans dictate to them what to do, but understanding organizationally how to have a transition in leadership and a smooth transition in leadership by, again, making sure that the young men they have who can take over had the right tutelage, right mentorship to succeed. So, yes.
Yeah, I think the two organizations, if I were to put two organizations in sport, there's more. I would say you just point out Green Bay in football, and I would put OKC in basketball as one of them organizations, right? If I were to say who's a prototype for, that transition where the youngin can come and how they make that transition and bring that. I think those are two organizations. I think you're pointing out right, not just at the quarterback room, the way they flip receivers, the way and they don't do it in and I call it a Patriot way. It almost felt like the Patriots did it in a, I don't know, it was more calculated. It just felt different under Belichick. It didn't feel like the way I see it happening with Green Bay and OKC around like cultivating their own and having that youth movement. Are there other organizations
I
that y'all
throw
might put?
Boston in there too. I
Who?
throw Boston Celtics. I throw them in there as well. As far as
Celtics, yes.
where they
Yeah.
draft, where they make trades, and make off-season moves.
Yeah.
I would put the
It's
Celtics. You're
sad.
right.
There's tragedy with that, though. I mean, they were smart enough to try to get Lamb Bias, but sadly, Lamb Bias, sadly, now
Yep.
that he perished. But at least that was a plan that they had.
Yep.
A transition plan for a young star to take over from
Yep.
the older block, but it obviously didn't work out. Sadly.
And then they traded the big three,
Yep.
Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce.
Yep.
And we let them go. and those picks turned to Jason Tatum, to
Yeah.
Jalen Brown. They turned Kyrie and them into Isaiah Thomas. Well, no, they got Kyrie from Isaiah Thomas, right?
Yeah.
And then they turned what's that, Romeo Langford into Derek White, and then
Carl,
they,
yeah, Carl, would you say that? Would you say the Rays are that type of organization? I mean, they
Yeah, they are.
small.
They build. They really cultivate talent, and they also seem to understand how to flip talent so that they again get star players. Like in the Will Adames deal, they got one of their best pitchers. So they because they're a smaller market team, they understand how to leverage players and get the most out of them, and then get rid of them. But sadly, I think the economics of baseball has hurt them because you can never really build a team, a core that's going to win you a championship. You're going to have a player you have to get rid of them because of the economics. That's where really, again, not to go off tangent, but the salary cap is key because when you hit that certain economic threshold, they have to trade the player. You're not going to again mature a type of core that the Blue Jays had or the Dodgers had, where you can win a title. You'll always be where you're second best, or you can get. They had a core. They got to the World Series with Joe Madden, but they couldn't get enough. And then Joe Madden flew the coop and went to the Cubs and won a title because he knew they have more resources. So that's the thing. You can do it. That's a good example. But it's a sad thing where on the flip side, they never won it because they could not put the talent together to sustain again excellence to win a title. Yeah. So.
Coach, the person I've always been critical of without managing this process well, for some reason I just have felt that way, is Steve Kerr and Golden State. They had some young players. I mean, even looking at the Kuminga situation, it just how they've managed their young players to be able to get into the fold. I might be missing something, but it felt like they had a core group that you just thought would do it, and I haven't seen that part. I think they're sticking with Kuminga, but I've been underwhelmed by Gold State's ability to do that,
so
even
have
though
you
they've
watched them
had,
this year?
huh?
I said, have you watched them this year?
Well, I think that they're trying to get there, but I got to see it happen. And I think Kerr has been. I think up until this year, you know, Wiseman, a lot of these guys, I just felt like they never had a plan and never let them get the seeding they needed to get. To get. I felt
Well,
like Golden State is missing. Maybe I missed it. That's why I was asking Coach. I could be just wrong.
I think you get in the mindset of that they had a formula that worked, and it would be hard to argue.
Yeah.
People would be hard pressed to argue that their formula wasn't working. Okay, and I think you get into a mindset sometime that this is how we've worked before, and we're going to continue to work that way. We're going to put in certain chess pieces in certain situations, and we're going to bring them in and have them fit this way, and we're going to have them fit that way, making sure that Curry is still doing what he needs to do. And I think that's all they got wrapped up in is this mindset. And you think about the teams Kerr played on, that's the teams he grew up with too, were teams that got a mindset about how they needed to do things, and that's how they were going to move the chess pieces across the board. I think they've kind of start slowly but surely getting out of that as they realize that Steph's only got so much longer to go. There's only so much more you're going to get out of Green. There's so much more you're going, and so I think they're starting to loosen that up and maybe change a little bit of their thinking now. I don't think you were wrong. I think they did kind of stay with their pattern with this ideology they had, maybe a bit too long, but it worked. So why would you necessarily want to change it and think that you can't continue that way? But I think they're starting to change their thinking now, and you look at them now, they're starting to look pretty good, and so change what they're doing and make some different choices now. But I think it was just a matter of being comfortable, and not comfortable to the point of being stagnant, but just to the point where this works for us. We got confidence in it, so let's just stay with it.
And I think you hit it right. They seem like such a forward-thinking organization that you think they would be able to get there. Like the only one I felt like made it was my man Hot Sauce, who after the Draymond incident, everything just unraveled, right? But because he fit into what you just said, Coach, he was able to deliver on those kind of things that were part of their system when he was acting right. He was able to deliver in that way, but it wasn't like they allowed him to expand their game. Kind of like I think they're learning with Kuminga and some of the other pieces they're putting in. He's adding a different element. He's learning how to grow. He's learning his assists are up, right? He's learning like that's part of the growth of a young player, right? And you got to get minutes. to do that.
But I disagree. I don't
Right.
think they changed anything. To be honest with you, I think that it takes a certain type of player to play in that system. And Kuminga, he just wasn't that type of guy, and he wasn't buying into the system. He's a score first, selfish player, and it took until now when they got a guy like Jimmy Butler who was really taking him under his wing to where now he's bought into doing the little things that they've been looking for him to do this the whole time.
But
And
but
he just
but but
hasn't been
I
doing
think
it.
I'm
And a lot
right
of these
because
out there,
you just made my point. Because part of that is your other guys doing that, and if it took Jimmy to do that, you had other veterans, right? Like that's why that stuff is happening in
well,
other places because
it's a
veterans
two
do
way
that.
street. It's not to have like Draymond can talk to Kuminga about doing the little things, but Kuminga at the same time he go look at him like, well, you do these things because you can't do it because you have to. You can't get a bucket. But when Jimmy Butler, his name is Jimmy Buckets, and if he's telling you pass the ball, then he's coming from a different perspective, a different air to say, okay, you got to do these other things, and now I think it comes off different when it's coming from him. You know, like from coaching, like sometimes you could tell a kid the same thing over and over and over and over again. But somebody else that that has a different resume, they played in the NFL, they played at such and such college. They can say the exact same thing, and then okay, coach, and then they'll listen. And I think that's Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, but Jonathan's not the only one. You got Moody. You got a whole bunch of young cats that ain't
Yeah.
developed, like that haven't developed the way they should develop.
But then
And
Quentin
part of that
Post
is,
came in, he played right away. Clinton Post played right away when he came into the system because
yeah,
he
but
fit.
none of them guys have hung at a team like this. Like they've been underwhelming in that development. Like Gold State, like if there's one place they got a problem, it's that. Like that, there's something there. I don't know if you got assistant coaches who are helping with that development, because sometimes it's not just another player. Sometimes it's having the right assistants who can speak into their. There's something like it's not something that should be happening with a Golden State, and it's happening. So there's more to it. Other,
Will
yeah,
Richardson,
there's got to be somebody. You know what I'm saying? There's got to
Will
be other
Richardson
things.
right in.
Yeah, but there's got to be. But that I think that's happened over time because they're at a point where they got to do it. They have no choice. Right. They got to have, like, Steph can't carry the load like this. They're at a point where you got to do it. But part of them getting here, my struggle is because they didn't do the other stuff, they're in this position. Because they've lost a lot of young cats. They lost a lot of young cats. If you go down the list of young cats that have come there and just fizzled out, that it feels unusual for a place like like that shouldn't happen at that rate. You looking over OK City, they're the king of development. Like they got guys come off the bench. You like, where you come from? It's a different. That's my only for an organization that's won a lot. That's my only criticism. They ain't a bad one, right? They won enough championships. That was my only criticism he not like the Knicks former Knicks coach who wouldn't play people just because he wouldn't play them. Like that, he ain't that. But there's something going on. They gotta get better at. We'll leave that alone. We want to go and drop the mic a little bit, give out some flowers. Uh, I feel like Darnell might have one because there's but I'm gonna leave it alone. I feel like for some reason I was gonna message you about it, but I feel like you might have one, but maybe I'm messing.
Wait, which one?
Uh, uh, we got our former Buckeye, didn't he?
No.
Former Jet.
Oh, okay, Brother
Oh
Fields. Okay.
But I'll leave
Yeah,
it alone. You
sorry,
go where
Jack.
you got to go where you gonna go.
man, I was gonna go with the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, the Most Improved Player, standing 7'8" from from France. Victor Wembanyama, man. I just can't get enough of watching this dude play basketball. He imposes his will on every single possession. Offense, defense, special teams. They don't even have special teams in basketball, but some
They are
Wembanyama
special
is
teams,
doing it
brother.
all. He takes it coast to coast. I saw him do a behind the back dribble from the opposite from free throw line. Wemby is something special, and he has a young cast of characters that's coming along with him with Jalen Harper, Stephon Castle. Man, they're a team that they're building something special. And De'Aaron Fox isn't even playing yet. So this is so this is a team that's going to make a major push, I believe, coming into the playoffs. We're a long ways away from that. But you're talking about passing the torch or who has the crown. Wemby is taking it by force. So that's my drop tonight.
And they started out what, first Spurs team? I mean, you think about how many teams they've
5-0.
had go 5-0. That's and he all about his business. We talk about Signetti putting his feet on his couch, Wemby putting his feet, ankles, shoes out the window on couches. You right. Wemby is. We gotta give him nothing but love. Hammer, what's up, man?
My flowers are to definitely Dave Roberts. I admit, I was cheering for the Blue Jays, the haters out there, the people want to fire him every year if he doesn't win. The resilience that they came back is just, again, their brother, kudos to that brother who, again, has done what he's supposed to do with that talent, but he did. A lot of people had, look at the Mets, look at the Yankees, all the resources in the world. They were sitting at home watching with us. So, Brother Roberts, definitely kudos to you in achieving excellence on the highest level, highest international level of sports. Dave Roberts is my guy. Yeah. So.
Here, man. Here. Coach.
I never thought I would say this, but my flowers go out to Caleb Williams. That he has watching him play through the last couple of seasons, watching him play now, he is so much better. And the win today by the Bears is amazing. I didn't get to see the final piece.
You didn't want to. It was not good for your health.
Not for him, but I guess as much as for Caleb getting flowers, I guess I want to give it all to all these young black quarterbacks that are out there. I grew up in an era where the black quarterback was not seen as being a quarterback, anything else but. And now these young brothers are out there playing, starting on football teams, taking them to championships. And Caleb in particular, because I have seen improvement in him. And as much as I don't say I'm not a Bear fan, I want to see him do well. I want to see the Bears do well with him. And watching him, he's improved quite a bit, and he stayed with it. And even though many times he was running for his life, he stayed with it and continued to get better. And wrong, right, and different, however it happened, the Bears put up 40-some-odd points a day, and I don't think they did that all season a couple of seasons ago. If you added all the scores they had, I don't think they had 40 points. So, so they had so I give my hats off to him. I give my flowers to him and drop the mic on him and all the young black quarterbacks that are turning this league upside down.
Yeah, I might do two if I can do it. One, I just gonna say in general baseball. I mean, I was a person who watched a lot when I was younger, got away from the game, but I've had fun watching the playoffs this year, and I haven't done that in a long time. I mean, I find myself sitting down and watching. I love the personalities. I love the energy. I love how these two teams played, the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. They gave it all to us. And Shohei, look, stuff we used to play around and try to do with Little League. You play at the park. You pitch and hit. This cat is next level, man. I can't wait to see when they do like the World Tournament of baseball. I mean, I think it's going to be off the chain. But the way what he has done for the game, and I remember there were a lot of conversations about the fact that he needed a translator. Look, when you play like that, you don't need nobody translating it. You just see what you see, and that guy has personality. He is playing. I love that. But baseball has brought me back in the fold. They got me up to watching it. I'm having a good time. Hammer, we're going to get out next year, brother. We got to sit down. We might have to get the baseball stuff back on the
brother,
air,
I
brother.
was at Game 5 of the Brewers, bro. Let me know.
You got to get me back. I'm there.
Time, bro.
I'm there.
We talk about more, yeah, bro. We get it.
We got to get back. We started out this platform with
remember last time we went to a baseball game together was You, me, and Damon.
Damon. And so
Yeah, that was crazy. Long time ago, bro. That's like
I
what,
gotta get
12
back
years ago,
out.
bro?
Yep,
Too
yep,
long, bro. Let's get
yep.
together. Let's do that.
Yep,
Let's do
we actually working on an event at the university. Hopefully at a baseball field out east. So I'm back in the baseball business right now. And then the other thing I got to do is Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers in the offseason. Talk about what he want to do. All Aaron Rodgers has done is produce what he's supposed to do for the Steelers. The side of the ball that didn't do anything for the Steelers were the folks who got paid the most was the defense. But today,
They balled
Aaron
out.
Rodgers continued to do what he's supposed to do, and that defense showed up.
Defense showed
And
out.
Aaron has been doing his thing, and I'm gonna give him his flowers because I wasn't sure about the Aaron Rodgers coming to the
I
Steelers.
was, bro. I was. I
And
told
I
you.
have to give
I
Hammer
told you.
that. Hammer
told
kept
you.
telling me. Hammer
I
kept
told you.
telling me.
I told you.
I give
I told
Hammer.
you.
I have to give it to you when I give it to you. I wasn't the
told you.
one on it, but
They ain't making that marriage, brother, unless it was gonna work out, bro.
it was gonna work out. And it's
work out.
and as I was Cecil and I were talking about before the show, what's been great about Aaron is you could see that first time in a long time he just focused on football because Mike Tomlin and them got everything else covered. This guy's just having fun playing football. He ain't got to worry about all the other stuff because they got everything else covered. So I got to give him love on that. So a lot of good stuff happening. Hey, guys, it's been a great show. Y'all got me thinking about a couple of things. Y'all always drop some nuggets. So I got to go out here and think about some of the stuff y'all dropped on the show today. I appreciate that. We're going to get back into our flow. Again, check us out, realsportsguys.com, Real Sports Guys on all podcast platforms. Real Sports Guys on all social media platforms. Until next time, check us out. We'll see you on the other side. This is where culture meets the game, y'all. Until next time.
Hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down. Can always go another round. Welcome to the underground. Real sports with real sports guys. It's a flex that had his mindset. Ready for whatever grind next. My mindset working with the time left. Hard working, dedicated. Would like to dedicate this to those who never hate it. Can't nothing hold us down. Can always go another round. Welcome to the underground. Real sports with real sports guys.